you guys are doing well today. Welcome to the second edition of our live classes of Qigong for Taiji Qigong Shibashi set 2. As I mentioned before, I'm doing this under the assumption that you guys are a little bit familiar with Qigong, that people who are coming here have seen at least some of the videos of my channel, that you're somewhat familiar with the general principles. I'm not going to spend too much time going over them, and we'll be playing a little bit more with the movements within the form. Let me just see what time it is, 11:01, time to start the class. So let's see, let's just gently dive in, redo the movement we did the other day, the first 2 movements of the form, and then we'll move on. But just before, let's take a moment to relax, make sure that our structure is relaxed, that our breath is relaxed, and that our mind is relaxing as well, so you can then unify all 3 aspects while we practice the movement. So making sure that your feet are parallel, about shoulder width apart, just wide enough so you can feel comfortable bending at the knees and coming back up without too much effort. As we're standing here, we want to allow abdominal breathing to start to develop. Feel that the lower part of the abdomen can receive the breath, receive the pressure from the diaphragm, and start to expand gently as we inhale, and then naturally relax and come back as we exhale. And an extra note, in Taiji Qigong Shibashi for breathing, we're aiming to gently inhale through the nose. And for the exhale, we just allow the mouth to slightly open and let the breath come out as softly as if we were exhaling through the nose, but we just allow this to open, and almost like if I'm holding a candle in front of my mouth, and as I exhale, I want to make sure that the flame doesn't flicker, that it remains calm and centered. And so we'll do a few of these breaths, and you'll notice how quickly the mind starts to quiet down as we breathe in this way. So gently inhaling through the nose. And softly opening the lips and exhaling gently through the mouth. Inhaling through the nose, softly exhaling through the mouth, without making any sound. So inhaling through the nose and gently exhaling through the mouth. And see how you feel the mind becoming quieter and quieter with each exhale. From here, we'll let the palm face backward. Inhale, allow the arms to rise. All the way above the head, palm turns facing the sky, and the arms slowly open and come down. Inhaling up. Exhale. Inhale. Gently exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more, inhaling up. Exhale. Hands are coming together in a type of prayer position. Fingers point to the ground. Inhale, allowing the arms to come up while keeping the shoulder relaxed, turning the fingers upward all the way to the forehead, and then allowing the hands to go forward, gently come down, kind of drawing a circle that goes into the earth under the feet. As you inhale, allow the hands to come up, turn about solar plexus height, rising all the way to the forehead, extending forward, and then gently sinking into the earth under the ground. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Feeling first the abdominal breathing, then thoracic breathing, upper thoracic, and then gradually exhaling, letting the body relax, pushing naturally the air out of the lungs. Inhale up. Exhale. One more. Inhale, going up. Exhale, keeping the leg extended this time, allowing the arms to open, naturally coming to the side. Taking a moment to enjoy and feel the effect of the movement. Good. Now, give me just a second and see how things are going. Over here. Joining. Good. Just want to make sure, since nobody wrote anything in the chat yet, do you guys hear me well? I realize I didn't turn on my mic at first, so I just want to make sure that you guys can hear me and that everything is functioning and I'm not just not talking to myself. Very clear. All right. Thanks, Paul. Good. So let's keep going. And thank you for being here, by the way. Otherwise, I would just be talking to myself, and it's not quite the same. Good. So the next movement is a little trickier to get to grasp all the elements of it. So we'll start by doing part of it separately, and then we'll just put
put everything together so we can feel it well. The first part we're going to do is feel how relaxing to create momentum can allow our arms to kind of float around. So the normal, or I would say the more classic way that we see this movement is bending a little bit at the knee so we maintain the hip forward and as our center point from which we're going to turn, and then get the rotation from the waist around, relaxing the arms and just letting the arm kind of gently tap the lower abdomen and the lower back. So we keep the shoulder relaxed. We barely use the muscle of the arm to guide our hands to reach the lower abdomen and the lower back. In the back, I have the back of my hand gently tapping the curvature of the lumbar area. For those who are more familiar with anatomy and acupuncture, we're stimulating Migmen, very important point that's located between the second and third lumbar vertebra. In the front, we're stimulating Qihai and Guanyuan, two of very important point as well, which are in between the pubic bone and the navel. So the palm basically is cupping and bringing the Qi directly on top of these points. The idea here is really to get the momentum from rotating the waist to let the arm naturally swing and turn around. So that everybody can start to relax a little bit more the shoulder and see how using torque motion from the waist allow us to have the arm relax and swinging naturally. Once we discover this aspect, now we're going to play with taking a step forward and just kind of shifting our weight from one side to the other. So here, feet about shoulder width apart. I'll be opening my right foot just a little bit, more or less at a 45-degree angle, so I can come and sit on my leg so that my leg can support me and that my left leg is free to be lifted without any issue. And what I'll do is I'll just drop my heel forward, always about hip width apart. And so I can gradually transfer all my weight onto my front leg. From here, as I'm here, my back heel and foot can easily be lifted without me having to move my body more forward. So I want to feel how I can bring all my weight on my front leg and having my back leg be free to move. And then gradually I'll shift my weight back onto the back leg and see that I can gently lift my front leg because there's no more weight on it. So I'll be slowly shifting my weight from one side, making sure I can move the back leg, and then bringing my weight back on my back leg and being able to lift the front leg. If you find it difficult, you might want to adjust the spacing between your feet, both to find the right width and the right length of your step. So if I'm here and I take a longer step, then it becomes a lot more difficult to bring all my weight on the front leg and be able to move that back leg without having to shift too much forward. So if you feel that your weight is stuck in between your 2 feet, then come back, bring your front foot a little closer, and see how you can shift your weight from one side to the other if it becomes easier to have that transfer. Once you're able to find that space, keep it in mind, bring your feet together, and then switch your weight onto your left leg and put your right leg in front to try to find that same distancing between the two legs so you can transfer your weight easily from one leg to the other. If you have balance issue, you could always use a chair next to you where you can put your hands to help you. And you don't need to really lift your foot very high in order to do that. You can just basically kind of drag your foot across the floor gently so you have that support, both emotionally, and if you feel that it's too difficult for your weighted leg to support you, then you have something to balance yourself out with it. So you're, just as a reminder, I'm not here with you to observe you. So you are responsible to make sure that you're not pushing yourself too far, that you're always doing less than what you think you can do. And so in this way, you're not overdoing anything. So everybody is responsible for their own health and their own physical capacity. So be mindful of what you can and can't do. And if you have questions as I'm teaching, feel free to write them down. I'll probably reply to them only a little bit later, but I'll make sure to reply. Up. So we had the right leg in front. Just keep shifting the weight from one side to the other and make sure you don't bring your head above the leg and put too much weight on your knee so that you can more easily remain vertical, coming front and back. Up. Now, for the specific movement itself in the form, we'll combine those two elements, or the stepping, with the rotation of the waist to allow the arms to gently go up and down as we're turning. Because the movement is a lot slower than what we did at first, where we kept the momentum a little faster to keep the arms completely relaxed, there'll be a little bit more muscle control involved, but only to guide and maintain the arms. You want to try to reach a movement that is harmonious enough that you get the sensation that the arms are actually floating. So starting with the weight on the right leg, stepping and putting your left heel in front. The right hand is in front of us to give us an extra momentum as we step forward and bring our arms up. As we're doing this here, I need to point out a very important aspect is that your knee remains in the same direction as your toes. So be very careful when you turn the torso that you're turning the upper part of the body and not the hips, which would bring the knee inward. This, over the long run, can create a lot of tension and pain inside of the knee. So you want to make sure that your hips remain forward and that it's only from the waist and the upper body that there's a small rotation to allow the arm to extend. From here, now that my weight is on the front leg, I'm bringing my weight back onto the back leg and rotating the torso in the other direction. Shifting, and same thing here, making sure that the hips remain forward and that your knee is in the same line as your toe and not having your knee point here inward, which would create tension on the inside. So weight on the back leg, gently rotating the upper torso while maintaining the knee aligned with the toes. Shifting the weight forward, turning gently from the waist and allowing the arms to float up. And then coming back, rotating the waist and allowing the arms to come up. If we add the breathing, I'll be inhaling as I bring my weight on my back leg. And I'll be gently exhaling as I bring my weight on the front leg. Inhaling back. Exhaling forward. Inhaling back. Exhale forward. Once more, inhale back. Exhale forward. Now this time, as I'm inhaling, I bring my feet parallel to each other, switching my weight onto the left leg. And then as I step with the right, I begin my exhale, allowing my arm to rise and up. Inhaling as I bring my weight onto my back leg. And exhaling as I step forward, keeping the hips facing forward and rotating from the waist. Inhaling back. Exhale, front. Again, inhaling back. Exhale, forward. Good. So I know that this movement can be a little complex at first, just to understand the left, right, how you turn and everything. So momentarily I'll be turning myself this way so that you can follow the same side left and right as I'm doing it. See, so you guys can see also the stepping. So feet parallel, about hip or shoulder width apart, relaxed. We'll gently open the right foot, shift our weight, keep the weight on the right leg, and then gently put the left heel forward. As I'm doing this, my right hand rises about shoulder height, and I begin to inhale. I'm turning my palm, and as I exhale, I transfer my weight forward, keeping my hips forward, rotating at the waist, allowing my arms to open up. As I inhale, I bring my weight onto the back leg, rotating the torso so that my body looks on the other side, and then exhaling as I step forward, rotating the waist, letting my arms open. Inhale as I shift my weight backward, rotating the waist, allowing the arms to go up. Exhale as I bring my weight on the front leg, extending completely the back leg and rotating. One more on this side, inhaling as I go back. Exhale as I move forward. Now to switch side, inhale, I bring my feet parallel. Shift my weight on the left side. Drop the right heel forward. Exhale as I move forward. And open. Inhale as I come back. Rotating the waist, keeping the hips forward. Exhale as I bring my weight on the front leg and rotating the waist. Inhale. Feeling my arms float upward. Exhale. Letting the arms float again. One more time. Inhale. Exhale. And coming back. And taking a moment to enjoy the feelings, the sensation that the movement created in the body. Relaxing the mind. If for some reason we stressed about doing the movement, we let it go. It's already in the past, so we'll get to practice it again together. Up. Turn this around. here. We'll do another exercise to try to understand a little bit more the difference between the waist and the hips. And for this, I'll need you guys to grab a chair, ideally a chair that doesn't have any wheels so that you can sit square on it. So here I am with my chair. And so because the art of sitting is more or less a lost art in our society, we'll also make sure that we sit properly. Ideally, we want to be a bit closer to the edge of the chair so that we have something solid to sit on, especially if the center of your chair is a little dipping in. You want to be a bit more on the edge so yeah, you can feel your sit bone being on a solid surface. To find the right positioning for the hips, we're going to let our body rock itself a little forward. And then almost to the point where we feel that the sit bone, the little bones that we have on the crease of the buttocks and the leg, is lifting from the chair. From here, allowing my weight to come back to the center and kind of naturally rolling a little too far and feeling how the pelvic bowl kind of roll over and have our back a little rounded and bringing our head forward and really not a comfortable position. So we're not going to stay there. We're going to go back straight, moving ourselves again a little bit forward and then a little bit back and just gently rocking back and forth until we find that central spot where all of a sudden we can breathe a little deeper into the lower basin. Good. Now that we've found the position for the hips, if we try to rotate one side or the other, you'll notice that the hips are not moving, which is exactly what we want. We want the hips to be fixed and be part of the chair, so to speak, so that we can have really the waist, that soft part between the hips and the ribs, to be the area where our body will be turning. Now, because the hips are locked down, when we turn the waist, we have first the rotation that comes from the lumbar area, which bring us to about 20 degrees to the side, more or less. And then we have the thoracic spine, more specifically around T11. That's where most of the movement will come from. That allows us to have a bit more of a rotation here. So if I'm doing this movement seated, I'll inhale, allowing my right hand to go up. And as I would be moving forward, then I let my left arm move up and be in the front. As I inhale, my hands come back to my side, and then I look on the other side. Let me just close the door because they're starting to do some construction out in the street. It's a bit noisy. Up. So from here, rotation, looking to my left at this point. As I, let's see, inhale. So as I finish my inhale, I'm looking to my left. As I exhale, rotating and looking out towards the right. Inhaling, bringing my hands together, looking towards my left. Exhaling, rotating the waist, looking towards the right with my left arm forward. Inhale, my right arm is coming up, looking to my left. And exhale with my left arm forward, looking to the right. At this point, I would bring my feet parallel together, so bringing back my left leg so that my feet are parallel. And then I would step forward as I exhale with my right leg, right arm, and I would be looking out towards the left. Would be inhaling, bring my weight, so we switch direction, we switched our leg if we were standing. And then exhaling as the right arm come forward and we look to the left. Inhale, allowing the left arm to go up as we bring our weight towards the back. Exhale as we move forward and looking out the other way. Let's do this one more time. Inhale, up, exhale. So being seated in this way forces our hips to remain forward. They become the focus point or the anchor point from which our abdominal muscle and mostly the transverse allows us to create that rotation around the spine and to be able to go left to right and right to left. This kind of movement will have this kind of movement will have a particular impact on the kidneys because as I'm rotating, in this case, towards the left, there's a bit of a opening that's happening in the back. And here, there's a bit more of a compression of my ribs pushing forward while the ribs on the left side are opening. So my kidney is opening here on my left side while the right kidney is being compressed. And then as I move onto the other side, then here my right kidney is being open because the ribs are opening up, and then the left side is being a little bit more compressed as I'm squeezing. So we're kind of massaging the kidney one after the other, allowing them to be kind of squished so that the blood that's inside that has been filtered is coming out. And then as it open up, it pulls more blood through it with a suction effect and kind of gorging itself with the blood so it can clean it, and then as we come back and squeeze it, pulls it out. So we have an actual mechanical aspect going on the organs themselves, and we have a little bit of that because we're turning a bit more the torso happening between the liver that's being a bit more squeezed in this one too, and then the spleen being open. And then when we go onto the other side, the liver here that has a little bit more room while the other side is being squeezed out. So we're moving and stimulating the kidneys and the spleen and the liver at the same time. Good. Now that you were able to feel the difference between rotating the hips and rotating the waist, we'll redo the movement standing while putting a bit more attention on that aspect. Starting with the feet parallel, hip width apart, the knee just slightly bent and relaxed, the arms on both sides, and then just bringing our awareness again into the lower abdomen, feeling how when we breathe, it fills up the front, the perineum, all the way to the lumbar area. I'm not sure if you guys can hear that drilling noise. I'm sorry, they're starting renovation in the apartment next door. So bringing our awareness into the lower abdomen, feeling how it fills up, feeling first the front, then the perineum, which helps to pull the sacrum and coccyx down, opening the lumbar area and feeling the pressure pushing the spine and straightening it. As we inhale and exhale gently. As we feel this pressure settling into the lower abdomen, you might feel how it helps to strengthen and connect with the hips and the basin, or the pelvic bowl up, and feel how it gives a little bit more strength to the lower abdomen, making it a bit easier to rotate the waist on top of it. It's almost like if we have a ball joint inside the lower abdomen and that the torso is resting on top of it, and then it makes it easier to roll and rotate over it. If my abdomen is not filled, if I'm exhaled and I feel a little empty, then trying to turn is a bit more difficult. The spine is not as well placed, and the hips seems to want to be moving a little bit more. But if I first inhale, feel the pressure inside, then it becomes easier because everything here connects better through the legs, and then the upper torso can kind of rotate on top of that ball. So for the movement, the breeze into the willow tree, the third movement of Shibashi set 2, we'll gently open our right foot, bringing our weight. Inhale to bring that pressure in the lower abdomen and putting our left heel forward. And then as we move forward, keeping the center and the weight into the lower abdomen so that we rotate from the waist, allowing the body to look towards the right. As I inhale, I bring my weight back, solidifying the lower abdomen and rotating on top of it through the waist. And then exhale, moving forward, making sure my hips are forward, and then rotating to the right. Inhale as I move back. Exhale as I move forward. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Now changing side, this time on the inhale, I bring my feet together. Feeling that strength and roundness into the lower abdomen. Stepping forward, exhale as I bring my weight onto the front leg, keeping the abdomen as the central point as I turn the waist. Inhale as I move back. Feeling the strength here to rotate on top of the abdomen. Exhale as I step forward. Inhale. Exhale. Again, inhale as I step back. And exhale forward. Once more, inhale back. Exhale. Moving forward. And bringing the feet parallel together. Taking a moment to enjoy the sensation that the movement creates. If you feel a little bit warmer in your lower back, good job. The chi is reaching into the kidneys and they feel a bit more alive. Good. Then gently rubbing the palm together. So if you guys have question about it, I'll take 2 minutes to see. write it down in the YouTube channel chat because I'm not on Facebook right now if you're watching from Facebook. So just click the YouTube link and write your question in the chat. And if not, we'll keep moving from there. Seems to be a bit better. 1 and 2. Up. Oh, let's see. Question here, good. No questions apparently. All right. You guys are still with me? Yeah? So let's combine the three. Oh, question. When moving back, do you lift your toes? No, you don't lift your toes in this movement. Good question. So for this particular movement, I guess you can't see my feet very well. Let me adjust this just a tiny bit so you can see it better. So when I do the movement, the only time I have my toes up are on the first inhale, the moment I drop my heel, and as soon as I start shifting my weight from one side to the other, my feet stay flat on the ground. I have that extension of the back leg, feeling almost like my heel in the back is pushing into the ground without force. Just feel kind of that nice extension from the time I meridian, the Taiyang meridian going all the way down to the heel and into the ground. But I'm not lifting my toes nor my heel as I'm shifting forward and back. Then I bring my feet together. So obviously the foot has to lift the ground. And then as soon as I step forward again, my feet remain flat on the ground. Good. Only question. Perfect. So let me readjust this. Hello again. Let's redo movement 1, 2, and 3, one after the other. As we're practicing Qigong, we're aiming to connect the body, the breathing, the mind, and the movement of Qi all together into one movement. Often the breathing and the Qi are at first connected, but we need to be able to separate them afterwards. Breathing is more like a bellow or a pump that moves things, but the Qi should be free to move in all directions as well. So as we're standing here, bringing our awareness into the lower abdomen, gently breathing in, and gently relaxing on the exhale, feeling that the breath fill up the front, the perineum, the back, the lumbar, and then feeling how through the spine it connects through the shoulder blade to allow the rib cage to open for a deeper inhale, and then relax on the exhale. So inhaling first, filling up the abdomen, and then filling up the torso. From the back, feeling how the side of the ribs are opening and the back is filling up while the front remains calm and relaxed. And then gently exhale. So once again, inhale from the abdomen, then the ribs, and exhale. Turning the palm facing back, inhaling through the abdomen and feeling the arms being lifted, then the torso, then the head, all the way to the top of the head, opening the shoulders, spiraling through the arms to the tip of the fingers, and coming back down. Inhaling up, Exhaling down. Inhale. Exhale. Almost feels like there's a fluid filling up your body all the way to the tip of your fingers and then filling up a big bubble all around you. Like a fountain with a strong pressure rising all the way to the tip of the finger, then creating a beautiful dome reaching all the way around, front, back, left, and right, going into the earth under and then absorbing it through the feet, rising to the tip of the finger and then out. Inhale. Exhale. Bringing the palm together. Inhaling up. Exhale down. Inhale. Exhale. And this time that water movement is almost like a wheel filling up through the spine all the way to the top of the head. Then coming from the forehead down the central line of the body, down the legs into the ground, bringing it up through the legs, the back, shoulders, top of the head, coming down the front through the arms to the tip of the fingers, and then down into the ground. Inhale as you go up. Exhale as you go down. Let's do one more. Inhale up. Feeling the warmth filling up the spine, reaching the hands, and then gently coming down. Arms open. I'm opening my right foot to about 45 degrees, switching my weight, inhaling as I drop my heel forward. Exhale as I transfer the weight on my left leg, keeping the hips forward, rotating at the waist. Inhale as I move back, rotating the waist, feeling my arms float, just like the breeze moving the branch of a willow tree. Inhale, keeping the knees aligned with the feet. Exhale, shifting 100% of the weight from one leg to the other, if you can. This time the water sensation is being squeezed as we move down and then filling up the body all the way to the tips of the fingers. Then as we push, passing through it, feeling it, feeling the buoyancy of the arm being raised again all the way on top of the water. Inhaling, bringing the feet parallel together. Opening my left foot, shifting my weight. There's a floating sensation in my arms here. Stepping forward, grabbing that momentum and letting my arm rise naturally. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. One more. Inhale. Exhale. Gently bring the feet parallel together. Smiling, taking a moment to enjoy. Gently rubbing your palm together. Good. Well, thank you very much for joining me today. I'll take a few minutes to see if people have some more questions, and then we can close the session. If you're joining me only through YouTube, I invite you to also follow my page on Facebook, qigong18.com, which is also my website, but I'm not on it as often as I am on Facebook, so there's more updates going on through there. As well as Instagram, although I'm not that often on it either. I should probably try to do more on it, but it's also with Qigong18. So in the meantime, if you guys have questions, let me know. I'll give it a few minutes. You're welcome, guys. Glad you enjoyed it. Am I still visible? Yes, I am. Good. Let's see. And by the way, we'll do another session like this on Monday at the same time, 11 Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern, and let's see, 11, 18, 19, 7 p.m. Central European time. So, yeah, good. Well, seems like there's no more question. In which case, I'll be closing down now. All right. Thank you very much, guys. It's been a pleasure having you watching me. And we'll see you on Monday. Thank you, guys. Have a great end of day, and I'll see you soon. And if you have some more questions, then feel free to write them down and we can continue chatting. Ciao.